Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the 9 p.m. live English news edition, the top stories. A new national strategy indispensable for the end of the exploitation of children. WHO is mobilizing against the return of the Ebola virus. Hello, welcome again. Welcome to our newsroom for having the news in details. The Ministry of Interior, Mr. Mumin Ahmed Sheikh, yesterday welcomed a strong delegation led by the General Director of the Somaliland Police Force, General Mohammed Aden. During this meeting, General Mohammed Aden signed a working protocol with his Djiboutian counterpart, the General Director of the National Police, Colonel Abdullah Abdi Farah. The strong delegation received by the Ministry of Interior, including the Attorney General of Somaliland, Hassan Ahmed. The agreement covers the strengthening of cooperation relations in several priority areas for the Republic of Djibouti and Somaliland. In a speech by Somaliland's Police Director, General Mohammed Aden, on this occasion, expressed his joy for the conclusion of this agreement with his Djiboutian counterpart and said, and I quote, "It is imperative that the National Police of Somaliland and Djibouti work together to ensure their safety and security." And thanks to the Minister of the Interior for the warm welcome and hospitality received since their arrival in the Republic of Djibouti. For his part, the General Director of National Police, Colonel Abdullah Abdi Farah, referred to the most important outcome of the meeting held between the Ministry of Interior and the General Director of the National Police of Somaliland and stressed the importance of strengthening cooperative relations in several priority areas for the Republic of Djibouti and Somaliland. Now, the Employment Forum, which opened yesterday, continued this Friday. The Ministry of Labor, Mr. Usman Ibrahim Roble, and the Ministry of Women sponsored the day. International Day for the Elimination of Child Labor, celebrated annually, aims to raise awareness of the cycle of poverty that is created when children are forced to work, depriving them of educational opportunities. This day, which is part of the Employment Forum organized by the Ministry of Labor, serves to intensify its effort to eradicate forced child labor and proclaim the year 2021 as the International Year for the Elimination of Child Labor. Indeed, the right of children to protection against exploitation is enshrined in Convention 182 of the International Labour Organization, which has been ratified by all ILO member states. The Ministry of Women and Family, Mrs. Mumina Ahmed Hassan, delivered a speech in which she said that the Republic of Djibouti had signed the International and African Treaty on the Elimination of Child Labor. For his side, the Ministry of Labor in charge of administrative reform, Mr. Usman Ibrahim Roble, expressed his pleasure to participate in the International Day Against Child Labor and recalled that the Republic of Djibouti is among the countries that have signed to protect the rights of children and fight against their occupation in various areas. Regarding now the job fair, it is in its third day. The young people continue their interviews. This is an inclusive meeting that brings together all actors from the public and private sectors and young people looking for jobs. Indeed, holding subscribers among other things, to the objective of leading to immediate and direct recruitment and hiring, including through a networking provided by the Ministry of Labor, providers and job seekers. Thus, placing young people in an inclusive perspective is a major asset for accelerating growth. It should be recalled that this first edition of a 4-day job fair brought together 70 companies that are willing to recruit young, talented, competent, qualified young people on the spot. This fair is also an opportunity to invite institutional and technical partners of employment and vocational training to provide advice on career guidance to young Djiboutian seeking employment. Now in Dikhil, where the Minister of Equipment and Transport Musa Mohammed Ahmed yesterday launched the rehabilitation and renovation of the entire road axis Dagiru Dikhil, a vital communication route between Djibouti and Ethiopia. The minister made a trip to the site with a strong Ethiopian delegation led by the Ethiopian State Secretary for Transport, Kasahan Gofe, several senior officials in Djibouti executive from various departments or technical services, including those representing the company responsible for implementing the renovation project, as well as those representing the body that financed the work. The peculiarity recorded this time is that it is country's own financing. The assistance of a friendly country, institution, or financial fund was not solicited. Thus, the largest portion of the road between Dagiru and Dikhil localities, some 80 kilometers apart, will be refurbished. The kickoff of the work was symbolically given by the official of the two countries. The president of the Port and Free Zone Authorities, His Excellency Mr. Abubakar Omar Hadi, the prefect, the president of Regional Council of elected officials or regional delegates, and several senior civil and military officials took part in this ceremony. In a speech by the President of Regional Council of Dikhil, Mr. Abdurrahman Yunis Arre, referred to the importance of this road, which was launched yesterday by the Ministry of Transport and Equipment, and then explained that this road will stimulate the movement of large trucks carrying goods between Djibouti and Ethiopia. Let's listen now to the words of the Ethiopian Construction Company Director.
Please allow me to express my sincere gratitude on behalf of the Ethiopian Construction Works Corporation and myself for coming at the launching ceremony of the Daguru Digil Road construction project in a bid to rehabilitate 80 km Daguru Digil Road via the Ethiopia-Djibouti trade corridor. At the ceremony held in Addis Ababa, I representing the corporation and Mr. Abdi Ibrahim Farah, Director General of the Port Corridor, Road signed the accord for the rehabilitation of the road, which is severely damaged by long years of service for more than 2,000 vehicles per day. We planned to construct and complete the project within 8 months period.
From the onset, I would like to extend my warmest congratulations to the governments and the peoples of both countries for commendable endeavors exerted to commence the construction of 80 kilometers of road between Dikhil and Daguru. The commencement of this particular road project along the main route that hosts large portion of Ethiopia's import and export that go through the ports of Djibouti will surely bolster the economy of our two sisterly countries. The relationship between Ethiopia and Djibouti is manifested through the strong bond between the two countries and the peoples is in multifaceted arrays ranging from historic and inseparable people-to-people relation to well-founded economic ties. Furthermore, the recently inaugurated 20 kilometer of road between Galafi and Dagoro exhibits additional proof of the positive trajectory of our integration endeavor. In this regard, I would like to commend and congratulate the government of Djibouti in general and the Djibouti Roads Authority and the Djibouti Ports Corridor Road in particular.
For his part, the Minister of Transport and Equipment, Mr. Musa Mohammed Ahmed, said that this road will boost the economy of both countries and promote the movement of goods between Djibouti and Ethiopia. Upon his arrival in the historic town of Hayu, the State Secretary for Youth and Sport, His Excellency Mr. Hassan Mohammed Kamil, at the head of an important delegation mainly composed of senior officials of his ministerial department, is warmly welcomed by the local authorities, a compact crowd of young and not so young people of all kinds. After the welcome, the ES immediately proceeded to the inauguration of the Reading and Cultural Animation Center initiated by the clerk at the CDC of Obok in the presence of the Prefect of Obok, Mr. Abdul Malik, and the President of the Regional Council of Obok and the President of the Regional Council of Al Sabih, as well as the Executive of the State Secretary and many young Obok. These centers are high places of reading, information, training, and animation in rural and urban areas. As a reminder, Djibouti is restoring a network of 5 clacks in community development centers in the capital and in the interior region and the interior of the country, well integrated into their environment. These centers are mainly attended by young people who have access to a wide range of social, sports, and cultural activities. It should be noted that the akhlaq concept has been adopted to the local context and to the needs expressed by the CDCs by providing, in addition to the teaching materials in books, digital information supports. For the State Secretary, reading is an inexhaustible source of information and training, knowledge, and acquisition of a lived experience, and not only a means of raising that level of the French language of young Djiboutian. According to the minister, this new approach and the akhlaq concept allows us to hope to stimulate in our youth the taste for reading and become more familiar with digital and new technologies. Now, Oboch acquires the latest generation of synthetic turf. The city of Oboch was the attraction this Thursday, February 18, 2021, and because the State Secretary for Youth and Sport, His Excellency Mr. Hassan Mohammed Kamil, proceeded to the launch to the installation of artificial turf at the stadium. The ceremony took place in the presence of the prefect of the region of Oboch, Mr. Abdul Malik Mohammed Bonaita, the presidents of the regional council of Oboch, and Ali Sabih, and the presidential advisor to the youth, Mr. Ali Mohammed Dato, members of the Djiboutian Soccer Federation, as well as young people from different teams in the region and former glories of the soccer. With this beautiful architecture, the Oboch region is now equipped with a modern synthetic turf that meets international standards. The State Secretary for Youth and Sport, Mr. Hassan Mohammed Kamil, welcomed such as a masterpiece that will certainly be an important element in the development of regional soccer and especially in the detection of nuggets. We hope that through this architecture, regional soccer will see the blossoming and development of teams much more successful and many talented players who will one day play under the national colors, he said. The State Secretary for Youth and Sport, His Excellency Hassan Mohammed Kamil, received yesterday a group of young high school and high school students, all from the northern region, respectively from Tajura, Oboch, and Randa. Accompanied by their educational supervisor and parents, the young people had the opportunity to exchange with the number one of the State Secretary for Youth and Sport before submitting their grievances, fields, sport facilities, and above all, a close and lasting cooperation with the department and the school dominated the topics. Thanks his guest for the visit. The State Secretary for Youth and Sport, His Excellency Hassan Mohammed Kamil, insisted on the importance of education before motivating and encouraging them to practice sport. He also urged coaches to carry out their mission. Teachers have a great influence on our children. They motivate and help them discover and develop their potential and prepare them for success in life, he said. Now, the ambassador of Republic of Djibouti to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Diaeddin Diplomatic Corps in Riyadh, His Excellency Mr. Diaeddin Saeed bin Makhrama, met with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriate Yemeni, His Excellency Dr. Ahmed Awad bin Mubarak. Discussion focused on bilateral relations between the two countries and issues of common interest. Minister bin Mubarak reviewed developments in Yemen, including the incident of the government being targeted upon its arrival at Aden International Airport by the terrorist militia Houthi with ballistic missiles and drones in a terrorist incident commended by the world. He also discussed the political development following the Riyadh Agreement and the ongoing arrangement to normalize condition and rebuild state institutions, praising Djibouti's firm and supportive stance for the legitimate government and the facilities it provides by two visiting resident Yemeni citizens. On his part, Ambassador Diaeddin bin Makhrama affirmed Djibouti's firm position in support of Yemeni's unity, sovereignty, and territorial integrity, as well as its position with the legitimate government and its effort to ensure security and stability. Other regional and international issues of common interest were the subject of discussion. Now, after the extraordinary Congress of the RPP, which designated the President Mr. Ismail Margele for a fifth term at the head of the country, the one of fruit and yesterday the Social Democratic Party, it was around the extraordinary Congress that the National Democratic Party supported the candidacy of President His Excellency Mr. Ismail Margele for a fifth term. The ceremony began with the recitation of a verse from the Holy Quran, animation provided by young artistic groups. Now, the gendarmerie, indeed, 48 hours after the raid carried out by the gendarmes of the Anglais Brigade on the mangrove behind the Djibouti Bawadi Mall, where more than 5 kilograms of narcotics were seized and 7 traffickers imprisoned in a civil prison. Some criminals have decided to replace them. As part of the original plan, the surveillance system set up on the site has never been weakened. Thus, on February 16, 2021, at noon, the trap was set on 4 traffickers known in a negative light by the gendarmerie, who rushed into a device operated by the gendarmeries of the brigade in the 6-7 neighborhoods, reinforced by their colleagues of the mobile group still in the same place as previous operation. The interpellation, which took place inside the mangroves, allowed the seizure of 9 cups and 63 joints of cannabis grass, that is to say a total of more than 2 kilograms of herb products placed in police custody. The 4 presumed traffickers acknowledged the fact that they were accused of trafficking in drugs. At the end of the investigation, they will be brought before the public prosecutor to answer for their action. The General Secretary was also here to active them. Moving now on to the another news now, the international news, the Ebola, the World Health Organization is mobilizing to curb the new Ebola virus epidemic since the appearance of the new outbreaks in Guinea and the Democratic Republic of Congo. According to Regional Director of Africa, Machizo Moeti, the epidemic is gaining ground on these 2 countries. In Guinea, the epidemic started in Guaké after the death of a nurse who was showing clear symptoms of the Ebola virus. 5 members of her family and a general practitioner she visited fell ill, and 4 of them unfortunately died. Concern also from the WHO in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where several cases have appeared in recent weeks in the health zone of Biena, North Kivu, while the vaccination of high-risk people was officially launched last Monday on Butembo, the epicenter of the epidemic. The WHO has already released $1.25 million to support affected countries and protect their neighbors. This is it for this edition of 9 p.m. Thank you for watching us and have a wonderful evening.